So I've been asked to do basically it's sort of an exposing video of this company called PERIPHIO. I stumbled upon it when I was looking on Amazon Canada, just seeing what sort of pre-built PCs are available on the market, and then I stumbled upon their Blue series, which they're charging close to $900 Canadian for an old i5. But I'm going to be focusing on this $800 one because it seems like a good deal when you're just reading it if you don't know computer parts too well. So my major problem with this website and just this company in general is they claim to be completely upfront and honest about it. So basically this motherboard, let's see if we can get a decent picture. This motherboard is at least 8 years old. The processor is at least 8 years old. And the RAM is probably 8 years old. The only thing that I can see that's actually really good about the system is power supply is decent, 500 watt. EVGA, which is a decent power supply. I have it on one of my computers, so not knocking them for that. That's a decent power supply, and it does have a 512 gigabyte SSD, which we're going to assume is new. So those parts, this part's good, that part's good, and the 1 terabyte hard drive perfectly fine. GTX 1650 Super, I love mine, but it is not worth this much money. So let's get back to this i7 that they never say what exactly it is. All we know is it's an i7 quad-core processor, and they said that it runs at 3.3 Gs, which isn't good. That's not good at all. So this processor, and you're not going to find it anywhere on here, but it is an i7 3770. Now my problem with that is that's a great processor back in 2012. That's like one of the top of the line processors. This motherboard's not great. It's not a gaming one whatsoever. It doesn't even have the 16 pin connector for the motherboard, so we can just assume that insufficient power is going to be flowing towards this machine. So that's not great. This cooler looks like absolute garbage. I don't even know what that is. I don't even know where you find something that looks like that. Anyways, currently the i3 9100F is for sale for 75 bucks. That seems to be the going rate. And just to show you guys how weak of an i7 this is, this $75 processor, which I absolutely love. I have one. It's great. It's a great option for anyone trying to get into gaming. The only benefit that this one has is 8 threads, but considering the speeds are so gosh darn slow, it just isn't worth it. So let's just take a quick little look-see at the general premise of how good this i7 is. It's not great. This $75 processor beats it across the board. Just out of curiosity, let's just check out the best benchmark, 82%, and he was rocking at 3.7 Gs. 82, and let's just see what is the best one. And this one beats it. It's kind of depressing. This one isn't overclockable, neither is the other one, plus the motherboard that they're rocking isn't a good motherboard. It's not a gaming motherboard whatsoever. So we're going to talk about this price tag of $800. It might sound good. You're thinking, oh, I'm getting an i7, I'm getting the SSD 16 gigabytes of DDR3, which is very old RAM. There's nothing wrong with it if you have it, but for this price point, I don't think it's worth it. So an option that you can look at is a cyberpower PC. I did have this one in the past. I did have problems with it. I never had any problems with the actual components. They all work perfectly fine. I had problems with the Windows 10 wasn't proper. It had corrupt files on my DirectX, wouldn't let me download certain games, and anti-cheat wouldn't seem to go on. So this one in comparison to this one has a better processor, 6 cores, 6 threads, which we can look at it right here. It beats it across the board. And then it also has a better graphics card. This one has a 1650 Super, which is perfectly fine, but for this price tag, definitely not worth it. This one has a 1660. It runs on GDDR5, which is the old architecture, and then this one runs on GDDR6. But I don't think that it's worth getting a 1650 Super. If you have the option to get a 1660, you might as well get the stronger card. It's about 10% faster. Might as well stick to that. This one only has a 240 gigabyte SSD, so keep that in mind as well, because that's an upgrade that you might want to get down the road. I would definitely get an M2 SSD, which would be going underneath where the graphics card is. That is much faster. It's faster because it doesn't have to use a cord, and the cord can slow down information, and also you get a regular stock Intel motherboard. You also, on this case, get two 3.0s at the front. You can always tell from this black cable underneath the 16-pin connector that you're getting that. This one definitely doesn't have that. I don't even know if it's going to show the front or the top. And it doesn't at all. That's depressing. So anyways, it's going to be a 2.0. There's nothing wrong with that, but if you have the option to get 3.0, of course, you're going to want the more up-to-date option. So back to this. This one only has 8 gigabytes of RAM, but this one is $50 cheaper than this one. And to get 2x8, I would definitely just go for this $53 one and then sell the extra stick, because it is kind of hard to get a match to this computer. First I would buy it and see if you can get a match, if you can actually buy it, because this one, that's a ballistic old gen RAM. I can't remember what mine came with, but it's either XBG ballistic or some random company. But anyways, it's not impossible to find the extra stick, and it should be under $50. So anyways, you can upgrade to 16 with the money you're saving and have an all-around better computer. Another thing that I noticed is if you scroll down, it says that it's got supported sellers on their website. So Newegg and blah blah blah. So why don't we just check out Newegg? So we have it here, refurbished, which most of the parts are. And we can actually see that they're not exactly a match. I would very much like to see the top of this thing, but I don't think it's gonna show me. It's just kind of not great when a case at the front doesn't have 3.0s. Well, at least it's got a better picture. This one does show a 550 watt PSU, and it has a PSU shroud. So that is this box to hide things, and I'm fairly certain this one doesn't. No, it doesn't. So if you order from their website, if you get this case, you have no shroud. Everything's going to be hanging out willy-nilly, which isn't always the best for hiding cords and helping airflow. But it's looking pretty normal. Has that? It has a Wi-Fi card, it says. I just can't get over that they don't say what processor it is. And I'm pretty sure on this website, 3.3, DDR3. Yeah, it doesn't say what processor it comes with. Processor, Intel i7 quad-core. Like, holy moly, that's so many. That's such a broad spectrum. Does it say under specs? i7. It's so irritating. Just write what processor it is. They don't want to get caught showing that they're giving away a 2012 processor in 2020. So that's pretty crappy. Just going to show you guys just a quick video of this blue one because I found it hilarious. Don't want to show too much. Not it. You're going to get a real feel for this company from the loud music.
What's up guys, my name is Tyler. I work for PERIPHIO as a gaming computer technician, and today I'm going to be playing some Rainbow Six.
What, Tyler? It's just so loud, and they don't show FPS on this. I'm not saying pre-built companies are known for being honest. Like, for instance, this says Fortnite on ultra settings at 1080p can run 195 FPS. I'm pretty sure my 2070 Super can't do that. So I never trust them in the first place, but it is nicer when they actually show what settings they're playing on and what FPS they're claiming to get. At least you can get a generic idea. Yeah, but above all, like, it's just disappointing. Even this one, This blue one, just real quick, has an old i5 and also quad core, which is the i5 2400. I know by the speed. And it doesn't say anything else about it. It also, big ripoff. $600 you can build a way better PC with a better processor and a better graphics card and better overall parts and still getting the RGB. I understand why people would gravitate towards this. You see i7, you see that price tag, you see the lights that you want, and then you're going to gravitate towards it without really considering the parts. So just please, like, try to look into the parts. Like a normal company should say what i5 it is. Like this one, i5 9400F, and that's the sitting base clock, and then it has a turbo like most Intels do. So just please make sure you actually find a computer that actually says exactly what you're going to get. It's safer. It's still up in the air on what brand of B360 motherboard you're going to get, but at least it's going to be a B360. And then with the GTX 1060, I'm curious just to see what one that looks like the Gigabyte. But I know that they give out Zotac, which is still better than this single fan, really, really basic graphics card they're giving out. So just please try to not buy used parts from a decade ago. It's not going to end up well. Motherboards usually only last about 10 years, so this thing's sitting on the brink of dying.